Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another weekly reading update. Like usually, this is where I sit down, talk through what I finished, what I'm currently in the middle of, and what's coming next on the reading schedule. Nothing too fancy, just a relaxed chat about books. And honestly, this week has been a pretty good one. Also, we got the first frost over here, so definitely feels like the winter is coming. Definitely better to stay inside and read, even though I don't really have more time for that. Anyway, first up I finished Endurance, the third book in the Legend of the Galactic Heroes series by Yoshiki Tanaka. And this one took me a while, not because it's bad or anything, but because Tanaka's pacing in this entry is definitely on the slower side. This volume focuses a lot more on political maneuvering than the big space battles. It almost feels like a reset, pulling back after the high stakes events of the second book. And honestly, it's good, but you can feel the book taking a breath in the story. I liked Reinhardt's continued rise and the more grounded personal chapters, but I'll admit the momentum isn't quite as strong as in the earlier books. Still, I'm glad I read it. It feels like necessary groundwork, and I'm hoping the next book picks up the pace again, because this series really shines when it balances politics with that sweeping operatic drama. So yeah, Endurance is good, but a bit slower. And I probably will also do a review on this novel, like the previous two, but I probably have to do a spoiler review video, because it's hard to review a book further into a series without talking about spoilers. And I don't want to repeat myself with each video, but we'll see about it. Now let's move on. The next one I'm reading is, of course, The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm about 3/4 through, and at this point in the story has really settled into that classic quest rhythm. What's interesting for me is how the pacing has changed. Early on, especially with the chapters like Tom Bombadil, things felt kind of strange and meandering. But now, 3/4 in, everything feels tighter and more purposeful. And the atmosphere is carrying so much of the story. Tolkien's writing just paints this world in a way that feels lived in. Even the quiet scenes, traveling, resting, chatting, they feel meaningful. And what I'm enjoying most now is the sense that the stakes are slowly rising. There isn't constant action, but there is constant tension. And you can feel the fellowship straining a bit, and that makes everything feel much more grounded. And the relationships are also starting to shine. Sam is becoming more and more lovable, and Aragorn is settling into the leader role. And even Boromir is getting these little character moments that you can tell are going to matter later on. I wouldn't say the book has become fast-paced, but it's definitely become more focused. And I'm definitely looking forward to the last threads. And I'm curious to see how my opinion changes once I hit the ending. So yeah, the Fellowship has gone from good but confusing to this is really sinking its hooks in. I get now why people reread it so often. Next week we'll be finishing the Fellowship with the group read, and we will read The Two Towers in December and The Return of the King in January. And next up, I started The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. I'm only about 50 pages in at this point, so I'm still early, but I wanted to share some initial impressions. The first thing that surprised me is how different this one feels from a typical King novel. There's almost this fairy tale tone to it. Simple and very much like someone sitting down with you to tell you the story aloud. And it fits rather well. What makes it extra fun for me is reading it because of the Dark Tower connections. Even though I'm not that far in, I can already feel the world building and the lore threads that will have influence in King's larger universe. It makes the reading experience feel more layered than it actually looks. Right now I'm mostly meeting the characters and settling into the style, but I like how approachable it is. It's not a huge, intimidating fantasy novel, but a short one, and it's easy to get into. Anyway, I'm excited to see where it goes. I have a feeling this one will read pretty quickly once things start to get moving. And there's a little charm to it that's already pulling me in. And for what's next, Speaking for the Dead, the sequel to Ender's Game. I'm actually really excited for this one. A lot of people say it's not just better than Ender's Game, it's a completely different type of book altogether. Ender's Game didn't completely win me over, but I really liked the final quarter of the book. And this one seems to follow right after, so there's definitely potential here. And I'm also looking forward to switching gears from fantasy back to sci-fi once I wrap up my current reads. And I think the timing is also perfect. Finishing Endurance kind of put me back in a sci-fi mood anyway. And that's everything for this week's reading update. Thanks for hanging out and listening to what I've been reading and what's coming up next. If you read any of these, Fellowship, Eyes of the Dragon, Speaking for the Dead, or anything from The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. I always love hearing other perspectives. Or just let me know what you're reading. Alright, that's it for this week, and I hope to see you again in the next one.